Welcome back to Airsoft South Africa. On this week's episode, we'll talk about sorbo pads and how to strengthen your gearbox against cracks, and we'll talk about this week's events.
Follow, like, subscribe and share.
Airsoft gearboxes sometimes get cracks. Now these hairline cracks start from the piston slapping too much on the gearbox itself and the strength of the spring or the rate of fire of that. Normally the combination is if it's a high rate of fire at high FPS, then it will start doing nose breaks, which is the front section of the gearbox will actually break off, especially in the V2 version 2 gearboxes, which are on the M4s and so forth. Now, how to prevent this? You could buy a strengthened gearbox. They are the shell itself is actually made stronger and some sections are thicker. The other way to fix it is if you have a cylinder head that is silenced, which normally means that it's got an indentation on this side of it, or you have with the combination a piston that is silent and it has got a little bevel outwards. Now that piston will hit the cylinder head and they'll make a close fit and they lessen the impact on your gearbox itself. There's also a cheap option called sorbo pads. These prevent gearbox breaks. They also prevent a little bit of noise from piston slapping, and they extend the life of your gearbox, and also they allow you to do a bit of correction on the gearbox itself with the angle of engagement. So angle of engagement is when the piston teeth fits nicely with the gearbox teeth, and that gives better contact, that prevents wear and tear on your piston teeth itself, and overall greater performance. So what you need for that is to go and get yourself a sorbo pad. Now sorbothane is sort of a meaty substance. It looks like rubber, but it's got the texture of meat. This allows it to take bigger impacts. Now the place that I found that gives you the best deal is sorbopads.com. They give you an option of soft and medium hardness on these little fittings. Where you would place this is behind your cylinder head. So if you take your current cylinder out, you would have a rubber in there. You pop the rubber off with a knife, and then you get your new sorbo pad and you attach it with something like Loctite or Loctite Flex. You can flex it a little bit and you put that on. After this and letting it dry, you install it and you're done. Now, as you can see here, this one is called the slotted sorbo pad. And it's got this little feature which allows the nozzle to be almost anywhere. This is a good option if you're not sure if they've got your version or if they don't have your version of the gearbox sorbo pad. So you would want to buy the same sorbo pad version as what your gearbox is, version 3, version 2, version 6. But if you don't have it, then get a slotted one. And with that, you get different thicknesses. I used a 3x16, which is at 70. Now this gives me the perfect fit. You might want it a bit softer or a bit harder. It's just up to personal preference at the end of the day. So give this a go, especially if you've got your gearbox open, then put this in. It will save you a world of worry. These will prevent your gearbox from breaking even with a very, very high spring. So do that and buy a couple when you do buy, so you can just put it into any of your gearboxes. I know a lot of techs like me that works on gearboxes a lot. This is the go-to. If you get a new gun, when you're working on a gearbox, you automatically just put a sorbo pad in there. Saves you a world of issues. Hope this helps. Give it a go. Go to sorbopads.com.
This Saturday we will have Operation Enter Sandman, and that's by the Airsoft Pros in Durban. Then on Sunday we have Airsoft Flash Assault, and that's at UTAG in the Western Cape. This game will start early, so be sure that you arrive early in the day. uphill struggle, and that's going to be in Durban. That's our next game. We've got Operation X, and that's in Pretoria. We've got Making Snow, that's in Durban, and the last one is the Timeline weekly open game, and that's in Gauteng. Remember to go out and support these games. Leave your comments and questions below this video, and lastly, join us next week for another episode of Airsoft South Africa.